Welcome to Soul Infused Monday. Another new episode, and I am going to kind of like wait 2 or 3 minutes for people to jump in. So if you are already watching this on the replay, or if you're watching this already on the live show, use this moment that I'm going to wait to remove any distractions, to mute your phone, to maybe get a glass of water, and you want to be fully present here in today's show. So I'm just gonna adjust here a few things. I'm gonna wait for 1 or 2 minutes. And again, if you are already on the replay and or live on the show, please leave a comment below, say hello so that I know you're there. And or click the like and love button, and also invite a friend to join us. Hi Michael, good to see you. We are talking today about the real danger of this pandemic, more from an energetical, spiritual perspective, but I think it's a super, super important topic, and it is going to be very important information. So I really invite you to remove any distractions and to invite a friend to share whatever we're gonna talk to about. Okay, so I'm gonna just wait here for another moment for people to jump in. Who else is live here? Who else is on the replay? Leave a comment so I can see. Good morning, Natalie. Thank you for the love. Yes, who else is here? And again, take a moment. If you have not removed your distractions yet, just do it. Just do it for the next 20, 30 minutes, or even if you only hear 10 minutes, you wanna be fully present, so that you don't get any notifications on your phone and get disturbed, get a glass of water and go ahead. So now welcome officially to the Soul Infused Monday show. I'm the host, Sonia Bueno La Torre, and today I'm here because I really want to help you to maybe get a new perspective, or go beyond what's happening, because this year is really kind of crazy. And I don't know about you, but time is like a blur. Like there's so much intensity. And I know that in the last couple of months, I've been very active in supporting my community. There was a lot of fear, a lot of anxiety, a lot of intense emotions, up, down, right, left, and center. And whether you are in a dark place today or you are happy, joyful, you are going to benefit from this either way. So I invite you to stay here. Hi, Darlene. And hi, Barbara. Yeah, got you. Yay, fantastic. All right, so. And to lay the foundation a little bit. So when I'm talking about the pandemic, or if I talk about the virus, or if I talk about any of that, like I'm not a doctor, I am not gonna go into any science that has anything to do with the medical piece of this. What I want to really talk about is the danger that goes beyond that, so that you are aware of it and that you can deal with your own feelings, with your own world in a way, and also support others. Because besides of the virus itself, right? So that might be scary for some people. I personally not afraid to be getting sick or anything. I mean, I'm protecting myself, but that's not an issue for me personally. And I think sooner or later we're gonna all have it. But that's not the topic. It's not the topic for today's. The real danger is really not only the virus itself, it's what it brings with it, right? I've seen loneliness, depression, higher rates of suicide, fear, extreme fear and anxiety, overwhelm, pressure, isolation, a lot of things that are coming with this pandemic that are ultimately even way more dangerous to your health, to your immune system, and to your general well-being. So if any of what I just said doesn't sit well with you, or if you are maybe someone that is kind of like not in the belief system of that the inner world is a reflection of the outer and vice versa, so maybe you get triggered, or maybe you don't agree with what I'm saying, and that's totally fine. Maybe this is not the best show for you though today. And hi Carol, hi Lisa, hey, hello, hey. Jumping in, if you just jumped in, welcome to the Soul Infused Monday show. Today about the real danger from a spiritual perspective about the pandemic, and also how you can regain your power back. Because a lot of people feel hopeless, a lot of people feel helpless A lot of people feel uncertain, overwhelmed. And I would love to hear, where are you at today? Like, where are you at today? Do you feel fantastic? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel hopeful? Do you feel helpless? Where are you right now on this journey? And leave me a comment below. Hi, Lynn. Good that you made it. And when I say from a spiritual perspective, I can only scratch the surface here today on this show. I want you to be very clear. And at the same time, I'm gonna try to find a few important pieces that you can take home with today. For me, spirituality, just for lack of better words, means that it's the path to reconnect and to discover and learn or get to know your true self. The essence of who you are really being, beyond the physical, beyond what we believe, beyond the form, beyond the names. And for me, there's no difference in what you want to call it. God, source, consciousness, divine, spirit. I am not attached to either of them, so whatever your belief system is will be applicable with this, right? So ultimately, spirituality or well-being, freedom, health, all the things that people want, that I wanted and I still want, from a spiritual perspective, is going inward and to really connect to who you really are. What is the truth? What is the essence beyond all those beliefs, beyond all the voices that we are listening to? And one of the real dangers right now through the pandemic, because this pandemic creates a lot of internal also separation, isolation, fear and anxiety. When we are in a fear and anxiety state, we kind of feel like a victim oftentimes, and then we listen, and then we might believe everything. Don't believe everything that you hear, by the way, right? Make your own opinion, and you don't have to believe what I'm telling you, by the way. I want you to have your own experience. I want you to have an open mind. I want you to wake up. I want you to have an awakened state of being, because that's ultimately what's really going to help you through however long this is going to go. Because if it's not this pandemic, there's always something on the outside, a trigger, a circumstance, a person that is gonna make you believe, think, or feel something, and then you think it's outside of yourself. It's never outside of yourself. The power is always inside. The true self is always inside. And one of the real dangers right now within this pandemic is that because of the fear and the anxiety and the overwhelm, from an energetical perspective, a spiritual perspective, it's kind of as if we would fall asleep again because we keep listening to the fear. Fear is contagious. It's the worst virus, by the way. Way worse. I think it's the worst virus. Like fear, anxiety, constant uncertainty, and you kind of worrying about it and revisiting that over and over again gets you in a real cycle, in a vicious cycle of being separate from the truth of who you are being separate from the truth that you are capable of dealing with anything that comes your way, and that life is happening for you and not against you. And the danger with having said all of that, the fear, the anxiety, the negativity, what it does is also, it kind of triggers you to even fall asleep to a certain extent, and you believe the stuff that you're telling yourself even. And I'm talking about own experience. Nothing I'm saying here is just I experienced this myself. I had days of depression where I woke up in the morning and I felt like I had no reason to get up, and I felt so bad, and I was like, what the hell is going on? What's going on? And I started to be really aware of strong self-judgment and a feeling of, oh my God, I don't know what to do. So, and that's not a bad thing, by the way. I want you to know that feeling this way, having this experience, is not a bad thing if you use it. A trigger, a breakdown, a pain is an opportunity, a doorway to freedom. If you use it consciously, willingly, if you don't, then it becomes a pathway to really inner imprisonment. Does that make sense what I'm saying so far? And I see a lot of messages. Let me check in. Is this landing? Does this make sense? And I want to see how you guys are feeling. So I'm going to scroll here in because especially your life. Totally agree with you about the behind the scenes and real danger. Oops, I didn't want to show you my kitchen. How did I do that? So you just saw my messy kitchen. It's not that messy. Thank you, appreciate that, Darlene. Natalie's saying, I don't know how to scroll down. The thing is, okay, allergies acting up, so I'm sniffling. I feel shame, appearing sick and being in public, doing essential travel. Yeah, Natalie, good point. You know, don't let the world shame you just because you might have a flu, a cold, or whatever. Not everything is corona right now. Like, it's okay to sneeze and it's okay to be sick. You've been sick there before. So use that, you know, like don't listen to those internal judgment or voices because it's okay. I feel a mixture of emotions, some hopeful and despairing, yes. Balanced, trying to feel balanced, yes. Michael is feeling gratitude. Life is upside down, meanings, yes. Amy, okay. I feel peaceful, fantastic. So a lot of, Amen, sister, yes, yes, okay, it's landing, that's good. I felt stressed out lately, yes, 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 totally. Okay, good, yeah. Of course you have felt stressed out lately, everybody has. And that's also one thing I want to keep saying because I spoke to a friend of mine yesterday and she's in such a challenging situation right now. Doesn't even matter why, but kind of like she feels like, oh, it's the end of the world for her and she feels helpless and despair. And so I was talking to her and I was saying, listen, I hear you. Whatever you're experiencing right now, remember who you are. Remember, this is a collective happening and you have the choice, the power to make a shift in a sense that you take responsibility. That doesn't mean you will feel wonderful right away. Don't be so attached about feeling great all the time. Be attached of being in the truth of who you are being. I'm going to repeat that again. And we resist that. Our psyche resists feeling bad. We want to fight, deny it, we want to push it away. Addiction is a great example. Overeating, I'm the one that, you know, like for me addiction was always food. Don't be attached to you having to feel great all the time, like a superficial happiness, pretending things are not there. Be attached to what's real, to the truth, and to discovering who you really are, and to connect to the truth and the true voices inside, and not the false voices that keep trying to make us believe that we are not good enough, that we should be different than we are. And that keeps you actually. That inner conversation will keep you locked down in prison versus going out into freedom. So it doesn't matter if there's a pandemic. It doesn't matter if there's a hurricane. It doesn't matter. And I'm not saying it's painful. I'm not diminishing for 1 second that people are dying. And I'm not diminishing for 1 second that people are in real pain and how painful it is to lose someone you love and to go through financial anxiety. I'm not diminishing any of that. That's all happening. What I'm saying is there will always be something on the outside. And the one thing that you have the power over and to regain your power back is to turn inward. I truly believe that the only valuable work that really makes a difference in life is the work inside. And I know it's not easy to swallow sometimes, especially when we're caught up in stuff. We don't want to hear that. But you are 100% responsible for what you are feeling and what you're experiencing. I'm not saying that someone does something that is bad, that triggers something in you. There's a lot of shit going on out there that I do not agree with. But I am responsible and I have the capacity and the power to shift how I respond. So the danger is not only that we kind of fall asleep and then we start believing others on the outside that you might believe that you depend on them, or that you are a victim, or that something is wrong with you, whatever your story is, right? So the danger of this is that fear manipulates and controls people. If you are in anxiety, fear, you will be more easily be distracted from who you really are. And you gotta take responsibility in order to really detach from that. Does it make sense? Linda, this is also, yeah, okay, fantastic. Hi, Melissa, speaking to my heart. Oh, fantastic, yeah. Yeah, thank you. I needed to hear this. Yeah, and you know what? I needed to hear this myself. Like, I've been there. I'm sharing with you my path. I've been on the path for over 25 years. I've been teaching for over 15 years. And I am on this journey myself. And there's also one other thing I want to say. In order to regain your power, you have the power. You gotta let go of trying to control the environment. You gotta let go of the things that you resist within yourself, not on the outside. You gotta stop wanting to change the outside or change people to make you feel better. Nothing will make you feel better if you don't change that internal piece of it. Does it make sense? Like, nothing else will really give you true satisfaction. And you might not even know who you are, and that's okay. That's the journey. And I also want to be really honest. You gotta have persistency. You have to have the willingness. You have to have the desire. You want to have the desire to discover who you really are. And you want to have the desire in some way to look inward. And you also got to have the understanding that nothing on the outside will change the inner struggle if you don't change the inner struggle. Right? So, and I know I'm mostly preaching to the choir here because my community and you who are watching me, if you followed me for a while, you are someone on the path. You are working on yourself in some way or another. Otherwise, you even wouldn't take the time to be here on a Monday, right? So I want to remind you to stay awakened. I want to invite you to every day reflect, am I taking responsibility today, or am I a victim of a thought? Am I a victim of someone else outside or a circumstance? And not with judgment, because we all have that victim energy in us, all of us. If you are in denial of that, accept that first. Because otherwise, you will be blind to what's actually keeping you caught up versus looking beyond and look at it. Like, look the monster in the eye. Dare to do the deeper inner work and get help to do that, right? And then persistency is your best friend. You keep on it, you keep on it. I keep saying that. You don't stop brushing your teeth once they're clean because they get dirty again. If you want to have consistent health and well-being, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, you want to do something for it. And I had a thought today about this. It's like, if you want to run a marathon, and it's a metaphor, it's just a metaphor, you don't have to run a marathon. You know, I have no intention to run a marathon again. I once ran a half marathon. It was a great experience. But the metaphor about the marathon, so imagine you wanted to run a marathon and you've never done one before, but you want to feel like accomplished, you want to feel like you want to be in shape. You want to feel energized and active and strong that you can run a marathon. What do you have to do to get there? You got to train every day. You won't get to zero to a marathon by running one time. By running out and run 5 minutes and said, oh my God, that's not working for me, right? Or, yeah, I ran one time today, or maybe I tried in 2 weeks again. No, if you want to run a marathon, you got to train your ass off. Right? And then, even though it's hard sometimes, and sometimes you cry, and sometimes you laugh, and sometimes it goes well, and sometimes it goes terrible, at the end of the day, once you run the marathon, you feel like, oh my God, you're on top of the world. It's the same with inner work. It's the same with inner work. There's so many people who want to have the latest strategy and the latest tool and a new meditation and a new, it's like, no, nothing new. You just gotta be persistent. You gotta train every day, whatever that looks like for you. Okay? So I need a sip of water. I'm rambling here today. And one thing I want to share, invite, and I know a lot of you do that, but one of the things, if you don't want to stay caught up in fear and anxiety, and you are aware of it that you are, and we all are, there is no shame in it. There's no shame in it. It's about awareness. It's not about guilt, shame, fear, judgment. These are all those little monsters that want to keep you small. And if you keep listening to them, it's not about listening to them, because you might still keep listening to them. But if you keep believing that and you stay identified with the idea that what you are listening to is who you are, you will stay trapped. You want to look at it though. You are not escaping from it. You cannot run away. We try so many times. I mean, I'm the overeater. Like if there's something I want to escape, unconsciously of course, because no sane human being punished itself or hurt itself on purpose. Huh? The unconscious mind has often other tricks to do that though, right? So be aware of it, look at it, don't believe it, but face it. And wake up. Right now is a huge opportunity. It's actually a really good opportunity. When we are in a lot of pain, it's a wake-up call. And I also want to say that pain, I mean like real pain, is inevitable, and it's okay. We can totally handle it. Suffering, constant, continuous suffering, that includes worrying, anxiety, and all the self-judgment, all of that continuous, chronic suffering is totally optional, not necessary, and you can get out of the cycle. So, having said all of that, here are a few things that you can do if you feel like, yes, I have been caught up in it, I might have been falling asleep, and we all have, by the way. I mean, again, I had days where I was questioning everything, right? However, through the long term of inner work I've done, and a level of, I'm just so committed, and my whole life is inside, work, reflecting inside, self-reflection, so that I didn't stay caught up in it. But we all fall into the trap sometimes, and that's okay. That's totally okay. Now you can get out of it again, right? So, if you're new to the journey and you haven't done much inner work yet, I would highly recommend find someone to work with, someone you listen to regularly, and do something practically to really have something that keeps you out of the trap, because otherwise we can reinforce that vicious cycle. If you ever have a practice, or if you're already working with someone, or you meditate, or you have another, whatever inner work practice or spiritual practice that you have, and you might have neglected it later, go full back on with it again. Starting now, starting today. And or if you're doing great and you have a great practice, just maybe you want to bring it to the next level, right? Does it make sense? And so obviously, if you've heard me speak before, I'm a huge advocate of energy-based guided meditation to anything, but you can listen to anything that uplifts you. Before you listen to anything, listen to me on this one. This is really important. Look at me. Listen to me. Before you listen to anything out there, whatever that is, audio, video, TV, radio, I don't care. Ask yourself the question, is this going to benefit me in some way? Is this going to uplift me? Is this valuable to me? Or am I going to feel just worse? Am I just going to feed my fears? Ask yourself that question and be very selective. But listen to someone. Listen to something. There's so much good material out there. Or read a good book. That's not gonna substitute the inner work. I'm very clear on that. but you want to stay uplifted in times where you need a sharp mind, where you need to stay awake. Because if you don't stay awake, someone else will take over. And you can be easily manipulated. Internally, by yourself even. By yourself. Okay, I want to see the comments and if you have any questions, in case you have. And I'm gonna go through all your comments later as well. I just want to make sure if I don't want to miss a question. Yeah, Darlene, thank you. Yeah, I see all those comments. Fantastic. So while I listen to the comments, read the comments, you can read the comments. Or just take a nice deep breath. Don't go anywhere. Just don't leave now. We're not done yet, but soon. Oh, I have a good one here, Melissa. Thank you for sharing. I have been doing inner work for decades. Today it feels like it never happened. Hopefully I'm on the verge of positive shift. So thank you for Melissa for sharing that. And I want to tell you one thing. I mean, I want to tell you, but this is not only for you, Melissa. This is for you if you can relate to Melissa. Who can relate to Melissa? Raise your hand. Just raise your hand. I can feel it. Yeah. And I've been there myself. So Melissa and anyone who has that voice, I've done work for decades and it feels like nothing ever happened. Two things I want to say about that. First of all, when we're in it, it feels real. It feels so real. It's not real at all. It's not the truth. It's a false self telling you something. So that's just one thing. It's not the truth, but it feels real, but it's not real. And then also it's a voice that you're listening to inside yourself. I think it was last week, or I don't know, just recently I spoke about to tame the inner bully. So maybe that's something that you might want to go back to. Don't believe those words because they only take you deeper and deeper and deeper. So when you said, I hope I'm on the verge to, yes, you are already shifting right now. You already shifted right now. Because if you ask what's the truth, and anyone can ask this question. You can ask yourself the question, whatever you're like, what is the truth? And you will differentiate the voice of the false and the true self. I really needed to, Carol, I really needed this. Thank you for letting me know. And Michael is saying, can you talk about having compassion with others, mask versus no mask, etc.? Yeah, yeah. Of course, I'm happy to talk about that. So, first thing I want to say, Michael, you're not alone with this. We all have judgment and we all have opinions, and that's okay. So first you want to have compassion about within yourself, to have that judgment to begin with, right? And to just be with a curious mind and understanding. And when you first look inside and you face the judgment and what it does to you, what is it triggering in you when someone outside doesn't wear a mask? That's just one example. It could be anything. So go from the outside to the inside. So there's someone who's not wearing a mask. You have a reaction to that. First look, what's your reaction? How does that make you feel? Unsafe, angry, blaming, whatever. But you want to take it from the outside to the inside. And you want to face it first. And you also want to face and admit, hey, I have a judgment around somebody outside because this other person is not like me. It's really interesting. When we judge someone, there are different levels of this. Again, I can only scratch the surface here. But when we judge someone on the outside, it's either something we judge within ourselves that we want to disown, that we don't want to see we have, and therefore we are attached outside. Or it's something that we have, but they're not. And for some reason, we human beings want everybody to be the same that we are. Does it make sense? So I would say, go from the outside to the inside first. Take responsibility for your own feelings. Dig a little deeper if this is really triggering with you. And then you can also look at those people and say, okay, it's not my business. What is your choice in here? If someone is not wearing a mask, you always have a choice to respond a certain way and see what's in the best benefit for you and what can you control or not. And it's also okay that you don't agree with them. Does it make sense? You don't have to agree with someone to be in acceptance, respect, and compassion. I hope this helps, Michael. Thank you, so powerfully healing. I felt the shift. Great, Melissa. Wonderful. Okay, so here's what I invite you to do. Okay, thank you, Michael. Great. So this is a super important topic. Again, I could only scratch the surface. I want to continue this conversation and I want you to do something. I don't want you to leave anywhere for the next 30 seconds. Okay? Here's what I want you to do. I want you to write down any question you might have. Because something will, like any question that, if there's a question, like for example, Michael asked me a question, Melissa asked me a question, and it's so valuable for yourself, but it's also valuable for others. This is bringing up a lot of stuff for many people. But I really want to support you to awaken, to take responsibility, to get your power back, to get out of this blur, of this hypnosis that so many of us been in for months now. Okay? So I want you to take a pen and write down a question. Not on the comment section right now, because I won't have the time right now to answer it. I want you to write down a question and I want you to email that question to me. Because I'm going to answer this live next Monday. I'm going to use this to continue this conversation, because this is not only done by one time. You shift maybe today, maybe you do one step today, but the unconscious mind, the darkness, let's call it the darkness, the false self, the demons, the dark night, whatever you want to call it, they're lurking up here. They're going to knock on your door and you're not even going to notice. So, can you read this? I'm not so sure. Can you read this email? It's sonia@beautifulyoublog.com. And if it's reversed or not, I don't know. It looks mirrored here on the, but it's Sonia, SONIA, @beautiful, like beautiful, you, like you, YOU, blog, blog.com. And I want you to put at the subject line, question for Sim. That looks like this. Subject line, question for Sim. Sim is Soul Infused Monday. Okay? So, beautifulyoublog.com, Sonia @beautifulyoublog.com, and I want you to write it down now, because you will forget about this. You won't do it in an hour, you won't do it tomorrow, you got to do it right now. And if one of your voices are telling you, oh no, you don't have a question, oh no, you shouldn't take a time, like whatever that voice is, there's always a question, because what if this one question will help you shift to your next level? Okay, so use the opportunity. Sonia@beautifulyoublog.com. It's the wrong way around. Thank you, Mandy, for telling me. So whoever knows this email address, please type it. Maybe Ashley, you are listening, or Dolene, any of my peeps here, please leave a comment below with this email address, sonia@beautifulyoublog.com. And in the subject line, you write, question for Sim. Okay? Can I get a thumbs up so I know this is working? Can I get a thumbs up? Thumbs up, thumbs up. Okay, good. I'm done. This was a little bit longer than usual, but I think it was super, super important, super, super valuable. And before you jump off here, if this was valuable to you in any way, please share it with a friend. Please share it with someone who needs to be who needs to wake up as well. Help someone else wake up. The world needs to wake up. The world needs to have consciousness, love, compassion. But if you are in sleep mode, if we are like in fear state, if we are in overwhelmed state, there's no waking up. So if you had a mini shift, a mini wake up call, a mini insight, whatever, or a big one, please share this with someone. And together we can really kind of like create a different ripple effect. And the last thing I want to say, there's so much I want to say, I could talk for hours, obviously. Be mindful what you listen and watch. If you are someone who watches the news, I'm someone who does not watch the news, I'm just being very clear, but I'm not saying you should not watch it completely. Although I would say you would have a better life if you don't watch it. However, if you are someone who likes to be informed, I am like to be informed, you choose You choose what to watch. Don't let someone else decide what your mind is going to be filled with. The news is going to come with all the bad stuff, all the bad stuff. The world is doom and gloom. You don't see the love, you don't see the consciousness, you don't see the good things that's happening in the world. So instead of just switching on the news and let that all be filled, you have no control over it. If you want to stay informed about something specific, like for example the coronavirus or whatever is important to you, you research that, you choose what you want to know, and you don't have to know all the negativity that the news and the whole sensational likes, and it's like, that's like brainwash sometimes. Okay, and you can take it or leave it. I'm not saying you should do that. You can do whatever you want because you are responsible for your life. You have 100% freedom here. I'm just recommending, if you have been anxious, where you have been overwhelmed, if you're easily I don't come up with the word, influenced, for example, by negativity, stop watching the news, especially in the morning. Meditate in the morning, take a breath in the morning, rewatch a Soul Infused Monday show. I don't care what you do, but do something in the morning that feeds your soul, that connects you with the true essence of yourself, so that you can become free and detached from just being a puppet of, the fear out there. Okay, now I'm going to bring it to an end. Thank you so much for being here today. I so appreciate you. And wake up and stay waked up. Woken up? I don't know. Whatever English word is correct. You are more than a body. You are so much more than only your thoughts and your emotions. You are a vast being of energy. Everything is energy. You are consciousness. You have the capacity. You have the capacity to heal yourself. And as part of us doing the healing within ourselves, that's how we heal the world, not the other way around. So in that sense, I love you. I appreciate you. Please send me your question again before you jump out. Sonia@beautifulyoublog.com. Michael, thank you. Or someone posted it. Thank you. And the subject line, question for Sim. And then on Monday, come back next Monday. Put it in your calendar right now. Don't find any excuse. You can be live here next Monday. So we continue this conversation to take you to a next level. Okay? Thank you very much. I love you, and I will see you Monday. Now I gotta find where to switch this off.